So my name is Alex. Prior to lockdown, I was a paralegal. That's all new now. So I'm or was a paralegal in a family law department at a solicitor's firm. And I'm not now. So despite lockdown having some seriously difficult moments, the outcome for me has been quite positive in the sense that where I'm heading personally and my career and where I wanted to be, whilst lockdowns changed how I've got there, it's not changed the outcome as much. So at the beginning of lockdown, I just got a quarter of the way through my second year of my legal practice course at the University of Law in Birmingham, and at the end of February I had loads of exams coming up at the first week of March, so I went to Birmingham for 2 weeks. And I remember that was when COVID was sort of not known what it was going to be or whether it was going to be anything. In England, we hadn't really had many cases by that point. There were a couple in Birmingham, which worried me. And all I thought at that point, quite selfishly, was, am I going to be able to sit my exams? Because I was in an apartment on my own in Birmingham, revising, while I had 8 exams to do that I'd worked really hard for. And despite all of that, all I could think at that point was, I really hope COVID doesn't mess that up, which is quite selfish because, you know, at the time I didn't realise what impact it would have on everything else, but my priority was finishing uni and finishing my exams. Luckily we got those exams, they were sorted. And the week I finished those exams, my university closed and everything went remotely. Absolutely everything. At the same time, it was my mum's birthday the day we went into lockdown. So I remember coming home from work, popping a present round to my mum's. We'd decided we weren't going to do anything, which was weird when I think about it now. At the time, it just felt a bit like, okay, we won't do anything now, but I'm sure in a couple of weeks things will have settled and things will be back to normal. And I took round a present, and me and my sister and our boyfriends had made mum a COVID-19 survival kit. So we'd picked up all the things that you couldn't get at the supermarket at that time. We'd managed to locate some pasta and we found hand sanitizer and got lots of chocolate and candles and lovely bits that we thought would make mum happy even if we couldn't go out, and we wanted to take her on a spa day but we couldn't do that, so face masks and hand masks were about as good as it got from B&M Bargains. And then we were like, well, I'm sure in a couple of weeks it'll be okay. And I guess at the time I didn't realise the impact it would have on everything, not just the fact that we couldn't see people on birthdays, or I couldn't just pop over to my mum's for a hug or pop over and see my grandma. It was absolutely everything. You know, I started working from home. I started having to do university from my bedroom, which, while sounds cracking because you get to be in your pyjamas and be remote and you don't have to answer questions if you don't know them because your lecturers aren't there putting you on the spot, it meant that I didn't feel at the time like I was learning enough, despite my lecturers doing their best. We were all in the situation where none of us knew what none of us knew what we were doing and how long it would last. And then obviously, as we realised it was here to stay a little bit more, all my exams went remote. So I ended up doing my exams online from our back bedroom, which is crazy because that's not how I expected to finish my degree. I didn't get to see my friends that I'd made while I'd been over there. I still haven't seen them since our exams in March. I'm probably not going to get to do a graduation or do anything to celebrate. So whilst I finished and passed and got through the hard bit of doing work from home, uni from home, and doing the exams from home, it's almost like an anticlimax. The idea that I can't just be like, right, let's have a celebration because now I'm finally allowed a life again. Things aren't normal, and I don't know when they will be. Don't know when things will be back to how they were. I'm quite a sociable person. Sometimes I'm a bit of a recluse, but generally I like to be around people. I don't like to be on my own. I'm lucky that I have such a wonderful family and I have amazing friends, and my partner is amazing and he's so cautious and so thoughtful about my feelings and me not wanting to be alone. And when we're at our house, he's very aware that I want to FaceTime my family all the time because I just like to be social. So this idea that life isn't social at the minute, where you're not allowed to be near people or hug people or have an idea about when things will be normal, is quite difficult, because even now's not normal in a sense. If I look back at the beginning of lockdown when we couldn't hug people, I think that's a world away. I think it's crazy that was where we were a few months ago, where we were queuing outside Tesco and that was your one trip a week that you were excited about, and that, you know, me and my partner were taking it in turns to do the shopping when we're normally fighting not to do it. Whereas I was happy to pay for the Tesco shop if it meant I got to go out the house. But even this normal isn't back to where I want it to be. It's not back to being able to have a party with my friends. It's not back to being able to have sleepovers and a graduation. It's not back to walking into a room and hugging every person that you see, which is strange. And that's the thing that about this whole experience and this whole time, that I think I have realised that's such an important part of life. It's such an important thing to be able to have people that you're close to and that you can turn to at any point. And I think even though those people are still there, it's not like they're not there. They're there in a different way. They're there a metre away rather than snuggled up on the sofa and having a cry with a film and a box of chocolates. You know, they're there at a distance. And I think that makes everything a lot harder. It makes the emotions harder to deal with. It makes it harder to enjoy the good bits because you're not enjoying them with people. You're not enjoying them and celebrating, but it makes the bad bits more difficult because you're not able to kind of lean on the people that you want to lean on and who are readily there for you to lean on normally. So I think that's been difficult. And I've recently moved jobs. So whilst I'm at the same place, I'm at a different office in a different role. But work's weird. 90% of the people are still really cautious or working from home. So the support that you need when you start a new job is all remote. There's nobody there telling me I'm doing it wrong to my face. So everything about life at the minute is just a little bit distant. So yeah, I think COVID for me has made me realise the importance of people and relationships, and whilst I might not always be the best at texting or calling because I get busy and I forget, it's made me realise that actually sometimes we need to be there for people a little bit more and be able to lean on people and take and appreciate when you can, and appreciate when people are there for you, because when they physically can't be, that makes your life a lot harder, a lot more difficult. Even the good bits. Even popping the champagne is difficult when there's nobody to pop and share it with.